Hello, Miami. This is 305 Sports Now, your home podcast and channel for all things Miami sports related. I am Will. Breaking news for you guys. As well, not really breaking news because it's been covered a little bit today, but as many of you heard, Frank Ponce, okay, who was formerly our quarterbacks coach, right, came over from App State from the OC position over to becoming the quarterbacks coach for the Miami Hurricanes, has basically mutually parted ways with the Miami Hurricanes and is going back to App State to once again be their OC. He was the offensive coordinator over at App State in 2021, in which his team averaged 34 points per game. And he came to Miami Hurricanes to coach the likes of who was thought to be a Heisman Trophy candidate in Tyler Van Dyke, a stud in Jay Garcia, and try to help out in the molding of three-star prospect and project, I would say, Ja'Cory Brown. And one of the things that I always thought that would happen, and many of us thought that would happen, was that if Josh Gattis, now this is if the Hurricanes were going to be a very good football team. The thing was, many thought that the Canes would be more successful this year. So what ended up happening is that Josh Gattis would have probably gotten a Power 5 job somewhere. And that means that Frank Ponce would have eased in, right, would have eased into as the offensive coordinator. So if Josh Gattis was to be fired, all right, they probably would have thought that Frank Ponce could easily move into the OC position. Well, that didn't quite happen. Okay, it really didn't quite happen. The Miami Hurricanes weren't very good this year. They finished 5-7, had one of the worst offenses, I would say, in the NCAA in all of college football. And Josh Gattis is responsible for that because he is the ultimate play caller. That is his system. Also with the blessing of Coach Mario Cristobal. But I will say this though as well: their quarterback position did regress this year, and I was quite shocked that it did. Tyler Van Dyke did not look very good until the middle part of the season, and then he got hurt. Jake Garcia was quite inconsistent, and we could tell Ja'Cory Brown needs a lot of work. All right, so no one is without blame on this coaching staff, right? Everybody from top to bottom has to take responsibility for what happened with this football team this year. All right. So that's pretty much what's going on. Now, why the move? Why back to App State? Well, it's interesting enough because Coach Ponce's wife is actually I believe a news reporter, if I'm not mistaken, over in North Carolina. He was still living over there while Ponce was residing in Miami, coaching the quarterbacks here for the Miami Hurricanes. So the move is pretty much, again, makes sense for him because his family is still up there in Boone, where App State is located. Not to say that's why he's over there. All right. Like I said, it was probably a mutual parting of ways, as Mario didn't probably want to announce that he was fired, but I'm not saying he was. But it looks a little like that something might have happened to that capacity. But nonetheless, he's out, all right, and he's going back to App State to coach the position he got coached before, which is the offense. And what's going on with Gattis? Right now, the Gattis situation is very strange. Yeah, the Gattis situation is kind of strange because Gary Martin Jr., the stud wide receiver from USC, came over to visit, and Josh Gattis is not just the offensive coordinator, but he's also the wide receivers coach, and he was nowhere to be found on campus during Gary Martin's visit, Gary Bryant's visit in particular. And that's odd. Now, he could have been sick, all right? There's rumors that he could have been sick. That's what I've heard. This could be reasons why he didn't show up, but many are speculating that Josh Gattis may be next out the door, and Coach Cristobal is going to revamp the entire offense, right? Now, the Miami Hurricanes offense was absolutely bad. They had about 30 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, and 10 of those were against one team, which was against Bethune-Cookman. In many cases, they cannot score under 5 yards, so that was pretty bad. Red zone offense was horrible as well. You get blasted by your arch rival at home, by Florida State, and you get blasted at home again against Pittsburgh. These are two teams, one that you beat last year, another one you were extremely competitive in at their home field. So that was just not acceptable. The fan base was calling for the removal of Josh Gattis. I favor that move. I think the Miami Hurricanes need a fresh start on offense. I understand Coach Cristobal's if you wanted to keep him because the whole aspect of continuity, but I also do not believe that you can go another year with a Gattis system. All right, it just doesn't work. Georgia proved that you can have a Power 5 offense, all right, a power spread, and be dynamic. All right. Alabama is another one that has a power spread, but they're very dynamic. Miami's offense was nowhere near being dynamic this year at all, with a couple of exceptions. Like, for example, the North Carolina game, which actually was more of an air raid attack, than it actually was a power spread, to be quite honest with you. So we'll see what happens with Gattis. I do think that the writing might be on the wall for Coach Gattis. I could be wrong. But the fact that there was a top recruit that you're looking for and a position of need, which is basically an outside receiver that is a position of need. We're great at the slot, but the outside position, guys that can get the deep ball and cause separation, we are in desperate need of. And you're not there. There's no communication between you and that receiver. Although Gary Bryant Jr. did say that it was a very positive visit, that says that pretty much says a lot, about what's going on with Coach Gattis. But we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. All right. Again, I'm just reporting what I see and hear. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you heard, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to 305 Sports Now. Once again, I am Will. Stay safe. God bless. See you soon, and go Canes.